Webcertain TV. Content marketing is something most businesses now incorporate into their digital strategy, and there's no doubt of how important it is. But with so much content out there, making sure that your content stands out from the crowd and reaches a relevant audience is absolutely vital. To talk to us more about how you can achieve this, Jitka Jizerova is here today.
Hello, Gemma.
Hi Jitka, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So talking about content and of course, making sure that you're getting your content out to the right people, we think about content outreach and going about sharing it. So why is it really important to have a strategy for that kind of approach?
Yeah, strategy is definitely a very important part of any content marketing outreach. It tells you what content to use, how often, in what volume, and to what audience you should target this content. However, this is not the only thing that you should consider before any content outreach activity starts. One of the first steps that you should consider is actually to identify your online personas.
Okay.
And why it is important? You should obviously create a content that it's valuable to your audience. It answers some questions that they might have, and you want to obviously generate leads or sales.
Yeah.
The next step, which is important as well, is to undertake an audit. This we would look at the website, what content the client might have on the site, or what content they already used and was successful in any other content outreach they had. And this would give us indication which direction to take, as well as probably show what content they are missing and we could create. So all these three steps are very important before any content outreach campaign starts.
Okay, so making sure, not just thinking about what you have already done, but looking at where you've got gaps and making sure that you make the most of all the content you have. So what kind of content works best for an outreach strategy? Is there such a thing, or does it vary by sector or country or business?
Yeah, I think it definitely varies, and we should always approach each client separately on an individual basis. But if we think just more generically about, let's say, we're targeting B2C businesses, then there we would probably look at content which would be more engaging, which could be, for example, infographic or video that it's actually targeting the audience. Yeah. But if we're looking into more B2B businesses, the content could be more informative, more serious, more answering questions that businesses could have, and that would be, we would look at probably some white papers or guidelines or webinars or case studies, anything like that. So again, every client should be approached on an individual basis, and there are not really statistics what works the best, but we know obviously that any content that is visual will engage more the audience.
So is it possible to scale content creation across multiple markets and countries, or do you really need to create separate content for each one?
We would always recommend to create individual content for each country and language combination, but in some cases it may be possible to target a region or just one language, English. But we would recommend to create individual content and, if possible, localize it, not just directly translate it.
Yeah, so that you're making sure it's relevant.
It's relevant to the target audience, and that people will visit your site and also buy the products from you.
Yeah, makes sense. So then we're talking about kind of the outreach side of things and making sure you're getting this content out there. So how do you select the most kind of appropriate and relevant targets for your outreach, to share that content with?
This part is very important, because that's the part when you're looking at where to actually publish the content. So we always look at the relevant topic of the blog site that the content is going to be published on, because that's where you're looking, where the audience is waiting for the content, and you might generate the visits and leads and sales from that. So another important thing is to have in mind, obviously, same language and country, so country domain, just again that you target the right audience.
Okay. And what kind of constitutes a good result when it comes to outreach? What can be classed as a success?
Well, success would be if we would manage to quickly and successfully publish all the content we have, and also to actually have a good relationship with the webmasters and admins of the sites. But generally we know that content marketing is difficult to measure, and it's difficult to actually measure the return on investment. However, basically we would compare the results towards the goals and objectives that we had in the beginning of the project. And every client might have some different goals.
Yeah.
Somebody might think we want to improve the brand awareness, we want to improve the referred traffic, we want to generate leads. So if we have access to the Google Analytics tools, we can measure these metrics and think compared to the objectives set up in the beginning of the project.
So it's really important that before you start a content project, you do know exactly what you expect to get out of it, because there will be different things you can achieve.
Yeah.
And what, now content marketing has become so important, and everybody, is seeing that they should be doing it. What do you think are the consequences, or for the businesses that aren't yet on that path?
Well, they're definitely missing out. As I said, it's not the cheapest option for the businesses, and they are aware of that. But we also know that the content marketing can target the real audience they have. They can improve as we just mentioned, the traffic, leads, and sales on a long-term basis compared to any other tactics in digital marketing. So I would recommend to go for it for sure, and
just be aware that it's a long-term strategy.
Absolutely.
And not going to be a quick win.
Absolutely, it's something that the business needs to have in mind. We don't start projects. We're looking at least 6 months to see some results. So it's a long term, but it can be very beneficial for the business.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Gemma.